me switch this scene back up into the in-game scene so you guys can see what's up. And yeah, hello and welcome back. Game number 2 in the Viper versus Vinchester series. Vinchester up in the purple towards the north of the map. He's playing as the Spanish. And then we have the Viper down to the southwest in the yellow, playing as the Franks. So they're actually playing non-mirror Civ Wars as well, which is fantastic. I know the Viper is a fan of playing with different civs, and it's actually nice to see them not playing a standard civ war, so that's great. I wonder if these guys even played this one on the balance patch. If they did, in fact, I should very quickly check. Let me just pause the game one moment, guys. I'm going to check that this wasn't accidentally played on the balance patch, because if it was, then it's probably worth knowing, though it doesn't look like it was, so that's fine. If the game crashes midway through, we'll assume it was, and we'll have to reload with the balance patch up. But unusual to see non-mirror civs, and that has caught me off guard a little bit. I'm so used to seeing mirror civs. This is great stuff, and I'm excited to see how this game goes down. Like I say, game number 2 here, though, and the Viper has got the game number 1 in the bag on that fast speed setting, which was actually intended, and I don't think Vinchester was aware of that, because apparently the chat said something along the lines of fast speed, slanty face. I'm not sure Vinchester was a fan, so I'm sure he'll be happy to know that this one, or happy that this one is on normal. So the map is Arabia. It's not dry Arabia, it's wet Arabia, with the oases littering the map here, causing all manner of troubles in the woodlines. But it's not too much of a problem anyway for the Viper, because his oasis at the back is not really opening any wall or anything like that. It's just tucked away in the back of his base with one lonely shorefish, or many lonely shorefish, I should say, in the back of that lake. Vinchester, on the other hand, a couple more oases near him. In fact, he's got 3 nearby, and that one on the front is a little bit of a pain in the ass. He will have to put some palisades on either side of that if he intends to wall along here. But we'll have a look at their maps in a little bit more depth in just a second. We'll look at Viper's map first. He's got nice backberries, which is good. If a drush comes in, which is perfectly viable for the Spanish player, for Vinchester here. If a drush comes in, then those berries at the back are going to be nice for the Viper, because it will keep these villagers a little safer with that, because a drush usually aims to go for the berries first. By the time your drush comes in, it's unlikely that your opponent is going to be taking any any gold. So you go to the berries first. If you can't hit the berries, then you probably go to the wood line. But berries often targeted first in a drush, and this one for the Viper is quite nice. And the fact that his map is quite easy to wall on this left side and quite easy to wall on the right means that he's got safe area at the back of the map. But his gold is way out on the front. Fortunately, it's on top of a hill, rather than at the bottom of a hill, but it is way out in the front here, and this means that Viper will not have an easy wall if he wants to secure that gold. But then again, Viper, being the Viper, probably not going to bother walling at all anyway, and we may see a tower coming up on the gold if he doesn't have map control by the time it comes to getting up to the castle age. So if the Viper's lost map control before the castle age, he'll put a tower up on here, I imagine. Otherwise, he'll use his map control, delay until the castle age, and maybe put a TC up on the front or something like that. It's on a hill, so it's going to be a decent location for a town centre. And, well, the Viper's playing as the Franks here, so in fact, a drush from both of these players could be a really viable option. Now, with the Spanish, we'll have a look at the Vinchester's map here as well. He's got gold way out on this left-hand side. It's quite far from the town centre, but I think, with a little bit of clever walling, he could wall across this left side. He could keep that fairly safe. He's just going to have to cover this front area here as well, with his second gold being way out the front. But fortunately, his back gold here being very nice and secure right at the back of the map. So he is going to be okay if he loses access to this gold, if Viper continues to harass this flank, for instance. But hey ho, look at this, Vinchester not actually coming forwards with a villager, but he has put this palisade here. He's scouted this main gold of the Viper, and he's put these palisade walls down. And the reason he's done that is not to lame the Viper's gold. No, he's not going to come over with a villager here and wall it up. It's just so he can see if the Viper is taking gold at all. He can see if the Viper has any villagers here, and he can actually keep an eye out on that to see if the Viper has any gold income whatsoever. And the reason why he might want to know that is if Viper might be going for a drush, then he could see a villager coming over here to take a little bit of gold and see that one coming a little bit earlier on. Of course, if we have a look at Vinchester's Fog of War, you would be able to see any villagers standing on the foundations of those palisades. Interestingly enough, though, neither of them doing a drush here. And the reason why I say a drush is viable for both of them is that the Spanish have a pretty tough feudal age, in my opinion. The Spanish don't have the real option of going for archers. I mean, they can make some archers, but the downside to that is that they cannot upgrade them to crossbows. Massing archers in the feudal age as the Spanish is a really bad idea, because they're just going to be useless to you once you get up to the castle age, because you cannot do that upgrade. So, the standard build for the Spanish is usually to do a drush and then into a fast castle, or alternatively, which is what we'll most likely see, is a stable in the feudal age with some scouts. But the problem with doing a stable in the feudal age is that it does require a lot of food income to keep those scouts coming out, and it does mean that you are going to slow down your castle time as well if you don't get those units. Sorry, if you keep making scouts, you will spend a lot of food, so that's going to delay your castle time as well, and then you don't really have the option to switch into archers like a civ like the Mongols or the Huns would have. So it's interesting that Vinchester's not done a drush. I would have almost expected to see one, and the Viper as well could have done a drush here, because the Franks going to benefit from their extremely strong cavalry, their heavy cavalry, and doing a drush as the Franks into, again, a fast castle does work very well, but we'll probably just see scouts from both of them. And actually Vinchester going up on 21 population, which is quite a small amount. I would have expected 22 at the least, because he is going to struggle slightly here for food income, and Vinchester doing that horse collar upgrade really early on so that he can get those farms up and have them with that extra little bit of food that horse collar gives them, meaning that he will save food, save wood in the long run. But the first scouts coming out, and the problem with Arabia and scouts is that it is so easy to counter scouts. Just one or two spearmen, and you can prevent scouts from attacking your wood line. You can prevent them from doing any damage at all. And this game, I think we might just see skirms coming out a little bit later on as well. It depends if the Viper transitions into archers, but given the fact that both of them have really open golds, and the Vipers here, gold right at the front, we might see them both transition into skirmishes actually, which would be a pretty interesting turn of events, and it could actually lead to a really long and exciting feudal war, which is something that I always hope for in this style of game. I guess the other real option as well for the Spanish or the Frank player is to do a bit of a tower rush, but tower rushing on this map is a little bit risky at this level as well, because the players so equipped, so trained to deal with a tower rush that they usually don't have too much effect, and it ends up just, you know, sort of stabbing yourself in the leg by the time you get up to the castle age, and you can't afford 2 town centres straight away because you've spent your stone on a tower that has ultimately been ineffective. So both of them really going for quite a few scouts here. Viper at the moment, it looks like he's got more. I'm sure he had more scouts than that. It looks like he's gone for 3 scouts at the moment, but I like the fact that he's actually sending his spearmen forwards as well. It's unusual to actually see that in a standard game, and in this situation, Viper's spears here, not only are they going to put out a little bit of extra damage onto these villagers, but they're also going to prevent Vinchester from wanting to engage this head on, because those spears will do a lot of damage, and all Viper has to do is run back with his scouts, leave his spears in the fight, and Vinchester will not want to engage. So Vinchester losing 1 villager in that wood line, and his spearmen will chase Viper away for now, but it's going to be quite quite a few spears, quite a few scouts, and as a result, we're going to see a prolonged feudal age here from both players, who are starting to seed a lot more farms now to make sure they keep that food production incoming. Viper, 2 more scouts queued up, and Vinchester actually stopping that scout production for now. I wonder if he's going to start adding some more though. Because one thing that you could really, well, one thing you really don't want to happen is to find yourself really low on military units age and attempt to go up to the castle age without enough military to protect yourself. There's no easy full wall for both of them here, and Vinchester's starting to wall up now, but he's actually walling his main gold out of his base, and he's still not taking that second gold at the back. Viper's in with these scouts, though, should be able to kill a couple of villagers here. If he only would focus the one villager down. This villager at the back, she's probably going to die, and Viper going to escape with 2 scouts here. Going to have to suicide that one, as Vinchester has a good surround on it. And what the hell? Viper nearly letting that scout get away. Of course, his spearmen were there as well, now patrolling to make sure that that scout wouldn't have escaped. But even still, very, very nearly getting away with that scout there. Vinchester letting it slip slightly. And in fact, Vinchester now 2 population behind in total, and we have a quick look at that military tab. We can see that both have 2 kills and 2 deaths, but Vinchester taking the lead as he starts to raid the back of the Viper's eco, hitting the wood line, killing off 1 villager, and of course looking for some more as well. Might be worth just suiciding 1 or 2 scouts here if he can pick off a few villagers. Now ultimately, now this is from the Viper's mouth, 1 scout traded for 1 villager. Viper doesn't think that that's a worthwhile trade. He thinks that the scout, if you lose your scout killing 1 villager, he thinks that that is not a good trade for the person losing the scout there. And I'm curious as to why he thinks that. Obviously, the scout costs 80 food. The villager costs 50 food. So you'd think, well, the person who loses the scout would lose an extra 30 food. So that's a kind of disadvantage. But the villager ultimately has the potential to bring in many, many thousands of resources over the course of a game. So I don't know if I agree with that, but according to the Viper, he thinks that trading 1 for 1 is not worth it to lose your scout killing 1 villager. But anyway, Vinchester's running right back now. He's approaching the castle age, and he's not made any skirms or any archers or anything like that, obviously avoiding producing any archers in this game as the Spanish, and he's actually taking quite a bit of stone and gold now as well. Of course, looking for that castle age upgrade, he'll need the gold for that, and also for when he gets up to the castle age, he is looking for that stone so he can produce a few conquistadors. Now, conquistadors definitely have the upper hand with the Franks, or against the Franks throwing axemen. The throwing axemen really going to be quite useless in this game unless it gets to the late game. And you have Vinchester making a bunch of trash. So we're unlikely to see the throwing axemen making an appearance, I feel. Certainly not going to be viable in the earlier castle age, and maybe not until the late Imperial age if it gets to that stage. The throwing axemen are really just a great counter to trash, but that's about it. There's not really much else that it's good for, especially when your opponent is going to be fielding conquistadors. So at the moment then, Vinchester hanging around on the right of Viper's base, Viper scouting out the front of Vinchester, but I think they're both going to be assuming that one another is up to the castle age, and the Viper now is up on 41 population, 65%, and Vinchester on 41% with 40 population. So there's only 1 population in it, there's only a few percentage points in it, and at the moment it's looking pretty damn close. I think the mid-game, though, this mid and early castle age is going to be really exciting to see. Obviously, the Viper's going for the knights. He's the Franks. It makes too much sense to go for the knights in this position. That free 20 extra HP that they get is just so good. And of course, the Spanish player likely to be going for some knights here as well. And Viper there looking to get in at the back of Vinchester's base, but chased away as those spearmen patrol that hill there. All 5 of those spearmen. Of course, that's going to be useful for when the knights come in as well. But for now, Vinchester's not got to worry too much about the knights until they're on his side of the map at the very least. Viper's got them on the way though. 2 stables, and 2 stables says to me that Viper's not going to be rushing out his 2nd and 3rd TC just yet. He's going to wait a moment, keep the the night production going, and then after that get the 2nd and 3rd town centre in a little later. Vinchester's got the castle age upgrade, and the castle is on the way out. The 2nd and 3rd TC for Vinchester probably not going to be too far away actually. He's got the stone for his 1st, obviously prioritizing that castle in this situation so he can get those conquistadors out just a little bit earlier. That is going to be pretty beneficial to him. He will need quite a few of them massed up if he wants to counter the knights, or not even counter the knights, just fight the knights of the Viper, who already has +2 defense upgrades done. So Vinchester here, whoa, nicely done. Getting in there on that farm, killing off that villager and getting out again. He's actually got some good trades with these scouts, and with these spears giving him the runaround. Vinchester really keeping the Viper busy at the back of his base, obviously requiring a little bit of micromanagement, but certainly worth it. And of course he's going to be looking to see if any more of these villagers are on low health as well. We've got one here with 17 HP, but nicely done. Vinchester denying Viper some food, causing him of course to have a little bit of idle time on these farms. Now Viper is very much aware that Vinchester is open at the back of the map, but this is a problem now because Vinchester is open on this oasis. The damn oases even, causing all manner of problems, and Viper's in there with his knights, splitting them up, running in with his scouts as well, and Viper here probably going to lose a couple of villagers. The spears don't have the speed to chase Viper down, and Vinchester's running back towards his castle now, where that will catch the Viper off guard. The spearmen though, unable to catch up to these cavalry units, and the Viper kills one villager off at the back of, or on this farm here, and meanwhile he's going to go and harass that gold as well. These 2 conquistadors, minimal damage. Not only are they inaccurate, but they do very little damage when these knights have +2 defense. Of course, these guys 16 attack. It's quite a lot of attack damage, but the knights managing to tank it for now, and Viper is killing quite a lot of villagers back here. We can hear those villager death sounds going off in the background, like, oh. That's my impression of a female villager dying, and the male villager is like, oh. Anyway, let's have a look at that military tab. Viper killing 10, killing 14, losing 10. Vinchester killing 10, losing 14. And Viper now quick to get those monasteries out. He really doesn't mess around getting those monasteries out on the field, does he? Liking to get those relics up. And also scouting. Once again, he is scouting like a madman, sending out his knights. He's not bothered about harassing the back of Vinchester's eco anymore. He just wants to get 100% map visibility, sending those weakened knights out to explore and see all corners of the map. And of course the reason he does this is so that he can secure the relics a little bit faster as well. He's already got 1 relic in, and he knows the location of another 2. If we have a look at the eco minimap, take the Fog of War off, there's another one here, and that would make, oh, and there's another one here, which he's now about to find, or he has found even. So that means he can see all 5 relics, and he is very well aware of where they're at, and he's going to collect them up right now. And that's something I really like about the Viper's play, actually. Something that you don't see that many players doing, especially in Arabia Huns. Not enough players go and collect the relics, but the Viper, you know, within 5 minutes of reaching the castle age, he's already got his monastery up, and he is finding those relics wherever he can. Good raiding by Vinchester in here though, ignoring those knights completely, getting about 4 or 5 villagers on that gold mine, and microing himself away to get that hill advantage, and maybe even kill a couple of knights here as well, but gonna escape with those conquistadors. Nicely done. And I'm wondering if these guys actually have husbandry at the moment. Let's just quickly check that. Viper husbandry is researched. Vinchester, let's have a quick look. It looks like he's got husbandry as well. No. Wow. So Vinchester doesn't actually have husbandry at the moment, meaning that Viper's knights are able to chase him down, but Vinchester micro him backwards anyway, firing off as many shots as he can, focusing these knights down as they chase him. But of course, that husbandry upgrade for the Viper here has been pretty important in chasing these conquistadors away, as Viper traces Vinchester right the way back to his base. Now, the 2nd and 3rd TC are up for Vinchester. That third one just being erected on the left-hand side. I like that word. And Viper, meanwhile, has got 3 TCs up already, and Vinchester's coming in on his right side, doing some raiding. Now, I've got to say, Conquistadors probably, in my opinion, a better raiding unit than Knights even. They don't have amazing pierce armor, but they have 6 range and 16 attack. So that means that 3 Conquistador bullets will kill a villager. You only need 3 Conquistadors, and that's it. You can start raiding your opponent's farms. You can stay out of range of the town center as well, because the TC with 6 range means that if you're standing back here, you can hit his farms, whilst the TC can't hit you, and they just raid like crazy. And they're just so incredibly strong. Vinchester looking really good at the moment, tipping that kill military KD, I suppose, in his favor. 22 kills to 20 losses, and Vinchester's just microing backwards, tanking the shots, microing backwards, focusing these knights down. He's going to get another 2 kills easily on this right side as he comes in on the front. Now, Viper's going to get a couple of conversions here. In fact, he should get 3 conversions, but he didn't quite manage it. Just 2 conversions going off there. But Viper's got himself a couple of Conquistadors here as well. But Vinchester taking down 4 monks there. 4 monks for the price of 2 Conquistadors. I would say that was a great trade. Definitely worth it. And I'm still wondering why Vinchester doesn't have husbandry. He does. Vinchester's got himself husbandry now, which means that he can actually run from the Viper without those knights throwing in a few pot shots from behind. So Vinchester's got great control of this game at the moment. He's got good map control. He's coming forwards with a castle and a siege workshop, and he's got a good number of Conquistadors out on the map, whilst his eco is able to boom up behind this quite safely. Now, the only downside to this is that I imagine the villager count for the Viper to be a little higher at the moment. 16 extra villagers on the map for the Viper right now. And the reason for that is because Vinchester did delay that 2nd and 3rd TC by quite some time. He obviously prioritized that castle. That takes quite a bit of stone. Then he has to delay his 2nd and 3rd town center so that he can get that castle up and then get the stone for the TCs on top of it. And it does take a little bit of a while to do that. And Vinchester slightly further behind in the villager count at the moment. About 15 villagers extra for the Viper, and I think at the moment he needs those villagers because Vinchester's looking really strong. He's got some good momentum, and it's going to be very difficult for the Viper to fight these conks here. Even though he's got the monks out, even though he's trying his best to get some conversions, Vinchester just seems to be able to micro these conquistadors in just the right way to do some serious damage and keep his units out of trouble as well. Viper here getting one shot by these conquistadors at the moment, just microing back, firing, microing back, and these knights getting cleaned up as well. Every time they run forwards, he seems to lose some more. And the monks now trying to get some conversions, but Viper's losing the monks so quickly as well here. 2 monks going down, just 1 conquistador being converted, and it is just not enough at this point in time. We've got Vinchester coming forwards with these rams now, gonna start taking down these buildings, almost forcing the Viper to use his knights here. Obviously, Viper has to counter these battering rams somehow, and he's doing that by bringing his knights in. And of course, those knights just getting cleaned up by the conquistadors behind this. So a fantastic play by Vinchester here, and he's keeping that pressure on, which is great to see. He's still 10 population behind the Viper here, but he does have a larger military. And Viper looks like he might just be struggling to keep this TC alive as this battering ram comes in. And, well, Vinchester's just going to be able to keep killing off any villagers that even try and attack his rams here. The knights coming in, like I said, forcing those knights to engage and then just killing them off before the battering rams get taken down. Viper's looking a little bit ropey at the moment as he slings up this castle in defense and actually starts some throwing axeman production. I honestly don't see how throwing axemen are going to be any benefit to him at all. It's going to give him a little bit of range, just 3 range. but still, that's double the range on the Conquistadors, and they will get taken down very quickly. The Throwing Axeman is a very slow-moving unit, only 50 health as well, and we saw how quickly those Knights were dropping. The Throwing Axeman, I feel, just going to be absolutely useless, and perhaps that's why only one has come out. That, and of course, the fact that Viper has no food at the moment, his food income being sunk entirely into Knights for now, and yeah, this Throwing Axeman here, I don't know. I'm not very confident that that's going to do all that much. This town centre, though, still alive for now. Knights coming out, and Viper starting some pikeman production as well, which is all well and good. But the biggest problem with the pikemen here is that they will get out microed. The Conquistador can give them the runaround. They do that huge amount of damage, and now we've got another castle coming up for Vinchester on the front. Vinchester going to be making a lot more Conquistadors now. He's got extra castles up, and of course bringing those rams in as well, meaning that Viper is losing that TC. Now, fortunately for the Viper, he's playing as the Franks in this situation, and he can actually you know, make quite a few castles here for much less. The Frank castles cost quite a lot less. It's exactly where is it? I can't see it. Castles cost 25% less. It was right there. So the castles cost a considerable less amount of stone, which means he can get more defensive castles up, meaning that Vinchester can't push in quite as fast as he would like with these conks. But I kind of feel like Viper here maybe delaying the inevitable at this point in time. The Franks going to have a little bit of a tough time here, but Viper's going up to the Imperial Age now, and I think perhaps planning to get some trebs out and take these castles down and regain some map control with that Imperial Age upgrade. Vinchester, though, not too far from the Imperial Age himself. Bear in mind, he has made a lot more military units so far this game, and he is about to hit the 800 gold he needs for that Imperial Age upgrade. He could sell a little bit of food to get there slightly faster, but I'm sure he's going to have enough gold income to get that soon anyway. Though actually, looking at his gold miners, he doesn't have all that many. He's got a total of 19 gold miners at the moment, which isn't that many. Viper's got 19 as well right now, and Viper's already clicked up as well, and he's struggling to keep his gold villagers or gold miners going with this gold under so much pressure. And it looks like Viper might even lose a second town centre now as well. These villagers trying to desperately repair this TC as his pikes go in there and try and take those battering rams down. But I've got to say, Vinchester's having a fantastic game so far. Viper now not going to keep that castle up at this rate. He's got to be very careful. Wow. All of those pikemen getting taken down by that castle. That is insane. This TC finally regaining some health quite quickly as this battering ram with 1 health remains. Viper just needs to take that down with that 1 knight there, and he's going to be fine. Meanwhile, though, probably a little bit worried about the fact that there's a ton of Conquistadors in the back of his base. His stone now denied, his backwood denied, and Viper's coming in with those pikes, gonna force Vinchester away. But Vinchester getting a few villager kills, continuing to keep Viper on his toes, and that TC from Viper now is in a little bit of peril, I would say, as these villagers gathering the gold get taken down within that castle's 10 range. It's quite a lot of range there, and it's nice to see Vinchester actually doing the fletching and bodkin arrow upgrades in this position, because those upgrades don't actually affect his Conquistadors, but they will give his castles more range. They will give his TCs more attack as well, in case he gets raided by the Viper's Knights. But look at these pikes. They're getting so wrecked here as Vinchester just micros away, kills them off, micros them away. And this is what makes Conquistadors just so strong. Their ability to micro like that and do such a fantastic job. Vinchester then looking in a great position. He's got 1,000 score lead at the moment, and he's not actually even hit the Imperial Age yet. A little bit messy with this lumber camp over here, and that explains... oh, never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. I thought this was Viper's gold for some reason. I imagine, though, that Vinchester would be able to take more gold on the front quite easily as well here. And he's just all over the place. There's purple dots everywhere on the map. More castles going up as well. But Viper now, with those trebuchets, looking to take that castle down. And Vinchester himself now up to the Imperial Age as well. But he's going straight for that Elite Conquistador upgrade. Absolutely no trebuchets being queued up. which means that Vinchester may find himself losing his castles pretty quickly here. But Viper's eco in peril as these conquistadors just keep running through, keep running past, and once these conquistadors get upgraded, they're going to go up quite considerably in attack damage and just basically overall stats. 18 attack now, an extra 2 on each one, 90 HP. And they are just going to sit inside of Viper's eco and kill his villagers all day long. The problem is Viper simply cannot close the gap to these elite conks. He's done that Cavalier upgrade, maybe now looking to try and mass some Cavalier up. But the problem is, unless he can mass a lot of units, the Conquistadors are just going to pick them off like flies as they even get close. So Viper here looking in trouble. A lot of his farms are now idle. He's lost huge sections of the back of his eco, but on the bright side for him, he is starting to take down these castles. Vinchester managing to take down one trebuchet here, and Vinchester still only just making a couple of trebs now. It's taken some time, but Viper looks like he is struggling against the might of the Conquistadors here. So this Cavalier allowing him to regain a little bit more ground, allowing him to take down those capped rams. But you see what I mean about these conks absolutely killing or picking off any cavalry units that get in range. And Viper now starting to take down these castles quite quickly, actually. There's only one more forward castle left for Vinchester here. And if he loses his castles, he will lose his conquistador production. And at the moment, that's looking a little bit worrying. But Vinchester switching into archery ranges now. Perhaps he's looking for the hand cannon upgrade here. He is making a university, so the chemistry upgrade might be on the way very soon, and these archery ranges remain idle, so I can only assume that Vinchester will go for hand cannons. But Viper losing huge amounts of his base at the moment. This back town centre going down as well. This front town centre still on fire, and his centre town centre his center town center, love it. His center town center is under pressure from the conks on the hill, and this is where walling would really be beneficial for the Viper in this situation. So Vinchester's looking great. There's that chemistry upgrade coming in, and indeed he is going to go for the hand cannons, and I think that makes a lot of sense in this situation as well. Obviously we can see just how many pikes that the Viper has, and Vinchester rolling down the hill now. The siege ram upgrade completes as he swarms this town center. Those pikemen desperately trying to bring those rams down, but it's kind of futile. There's conquistadors here focusing them down just as fast, and that TC gonna go down. The rams will fall as well, but Viper's losing a lot of villagers now, and the population is 99 for the Viper, 135 for Vinchester, and Viper's now got a deficit of about 30 villagers in total, and a deficit of about 10 military units as well. And of course Vinchester can just micro his conquistadors back once again, as he has been doing for the duration of this game, and just shotting those poor Cavalier. Now, Vinchester is down to just one castle, and in fact, he's pretty high on all of his resources, so he could be spending them a little faster, but chemistry just got completed there, and now we can expect to see 6 ranges producing hand cannons very, very quickly. But Viper did regain some ground, like I say. Question is, will he be able to rebuild his town centres and his economy from this position? I'm unsure what his military production is looking like. He is still going for Cavalier, but he has only got a couple of stables. His barracks lay idle, and his food and wood count is looking pretty abysmal at the moment as well. Vinchester, in comparison, has about double the resources, or triple even, the resources that the Viper has on every count. On food, wood, gold, and stone. So Vinchester is looking great. Those archery ranges are now queued up with the hand cannons, and Vinchester just needs to get some more rams out, and he is going to be able to start moving in to take these castles, and continuing from there. He could do bombard cannons, but he has invested already in the siege ram. So That's completely fair enough if he's going to make those siege rams in this game. Vinchester's taken those extra gold mines as well. This one up here is still up for grabs. Viper, though, probably fortunate that he has collected the relics so far. He has got those 3 relics, which does mean that his gold income will just be ticking over. But once his main gold is out, he's going to be struggling for gold here. There is still another relic at the back of the map which you could go and collect. This gold on the front is about to be pressured pretty heavily, and his 3rd gold is now in the control of Vinchester here. So the gold income for the Viper looking pretty sketchy at the moment, and he can't afford the Paladin upgrade either for the time being, as he simply doesn't have the food economy to support military production and get that upgrade as well. It's so expensive. But Viper here coming in to defend his castle. We've got bombard cannons out for Vinchester, rams out as well, and this castle so far looks like it will stand. Viper's going to be a bit wary of attacking over here, though. He has got the full upgrades on these Cavalier, +4/+4, but at the moment probably a little bit cautious of attacking straight in, as these hand cannons are going to put out a lot of damage. Viper's Trebs here trying to focus down that bombard cannon. They were successful, but Vinchester coming in now with some rams, and if Viper loses this Treb as well, that's going to be really bad news. Indeed, that Treb will fall. Viper coming in with his Cavalier, though, from both sides, the top and the bottom, tried to take down these hand cannons, but Vinchester yet again, fantastic micromanagement, using his gunpowder units to absolutely rain down bullets on these Cavalier, and they are not going to last very long at all. Viper struggling to keep his army alive for more than 5 minutes against this really potent army composition from Vinchester here. Vinchester starting that halberdier production as well. He isn't getting all the upgrades just yet, but he can afford them, and those halbs, of course, just going to be another counter to these Cavalier that the Viper will not be able to easily deal with. Still no Paladin upgrade. He still can't afford it, but he is regaining a little bit of ground at the back of his eco now, as he is able to start some, well, not start, but continue farming back here. Now, Viper starting those elite throwing axemen, or the throwing axemen even. I don't know if they're elite, no, just throwing axemen. Like I said, they are a fantastic unit for dealing with trash, and that's the combination of paladins and throwing axemen will mean that he can put up a little bit more of a fight to the halbs, but the throwing axemen slow to come out. The halberdier, of course, not the halberdier, the hand cannons even, gonna take them out very quickly. And Viper just has to play very defensively with the axemen here, as they will be able to deal with those halbs. Once the halbs are cleared out, he can start moving in with those Cavalier. But until then, it's going to be very difficult. Those halbs are going to form a very nice, potent, almost like a meat shield, I guess, for the hand cannons in this situation. And it is so difficult to fight against that. Spanish cavalry archer coming out there. That must have been a misclick from Vinchester. But Viper moving out to the far right of the map. In fact, both of them lumberjacking or cutting down the same piece of wood, which is rather strange. Something you wouldn't quite expect to see. But Viper trying to get himself back into this game now. He's kept that castle up, and he can make some more throwing axemen. But his gold count is nearly up. I mean, he has got no gold left. 72 gold left in the bank. This gold is untouchable, and his other gold is now actually being mined by Vinchester as well. As I said, though, fortunately for him, he does have a few relics, but he didn't collect the last 2 relics on the map. Didn't have a chance to do that, and now he's literally relying on that relic gold to keep him going. Oh man, it's painful to see these Cavalier dying so quickly. Viper's splitting his army up, trying to head off these conquistadors even. And while he's at it, spotting that this mining camp down here is still available, gonna try and take some gold here with these villagers just to get a little bit of a boost on that gold count. I'm surprised they've not noticed each other here. Viper probably not noticing that these trees are being chopped. Vinchester the same, though actually he does see these trees here, so he should, well, he might be able to go and harass that with his conks. might be able to do that, but Viper really just hanging on for dear life at the moment, and the Vinchester now taking out that castle. Viper's Cavalier are out of position, which means that they cannot push into these hand cannons, making these throwing axemen next to useless at the moment. The bombard cannons pushing forwards, the castle dropping, and the Viper looks like he's in serious trouble. Pushing against these hand cannons is going to be impossible with the throwing axemen. They will drop like flies. And Vinchester coming forwards with more bombard cannons now. This castle probably next on the list to go down. Vinchester Demolition Co. coming through, firing his wrecking balls right onto the eco buildings of the Viper here. And yeah, I mean, look at this. The hand cannons cutting those throwing axemen to bits. They will not even fire a single axe because they just cannot get close enough. And it's a bit of a shame here that the Viper doesn't have an option to go for some, long-ranged foot archers. They would be the most ideal unit to use in this situation. He is bringing in the Cavalier, though. He's finally regathered them, looking to take down those bombard cannons as quickly as he can. But in the process, he will throw away all of his army as he engages this. Obviously, he's got those, what are they called, halberdier in there as well, but those hand cannons behind there just way too strong, and the Viper GG's out. Well played, Vinchester. Vinchester going to take that game, and I've got to say, from the Castle Age onwards, Vinchester really felt in control of that game there, coming forwards on this left-hand side, keeping on the pressure with those conquistadors, split pushing Viper's eco, and just really doing a fantastic job of keeping Viper locked down, denying him as much gold as possible, and really just using the strength of the Spanish army to run circles around the Viper there. I feel like the Viper, if he wasn't perhaps playing the Franks, he might have stood a little bit of a better chance. It's pretty difficult as the Franks to really counter this. I guess he could have made some skirmishes to perhaps try and get rid of these hand cannons and these conquistadors. But the throwing axemen, like I said right at the start of this game, going to be absolutely useless here. But they would have been useful had Vinchester not had any cannons behind this. Had it just been halbs, they would have been fantastic. But unfortunately,